the one, the only, Ben Sion.
Good afternoon and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube Just After as we continue Maseches Gittin, Parak Zakin, the fifth parak, Daf Mem Tet today, number 49. Let's start from Mem Chadam Beis, towards the bottom. We're discussing Machlokas Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Shmuel, the famous Machlokas Chas. When someone's mazik somebody else with his property, or even probably your mazik the person himself, do you pay from your idis? You pay the idis. The Torah says you pay idis. You pay your best land, your best quality land, not your average land and not your inferior land. The question is, whose superior land are we referring to? The mazik's referring to the person who damaged, or the person who damager, or the damaged. So it's machlokas. Right? He was a damager, the mazik, and Reish Shmuel is the damaged. Now we're going to try to figure out what he means by this. What does it make sense? So the Gemara says, we start about 7 lines from the bottom. Well, Rabbi Shmuel, achal shmeina mishalem shmeina, achal kusha mishalem shmeina. It doesn't make sense, Rabbi Shmuel, right? If he ate from someone's field, his animal went, he grazed in someone's field, he destroyed someone's field. He ate a good field, so of course he's going to pay a good field. But if he ate a poor field, so, right, he has to pay shmeina, he has to pay for a good field of the person he damaged. He only damaged a poor field. It was worth less. He has to pay more than what he damaged. Amar Ravidi Baravin, it's talking about a case where the animal damaged other person's field in a field that we don't know what it was. He completely devoured the field. We don't know if it was an idis or it was a ziboris. The Mishalim Meitav, he pays the value of the superior field. Rava says back this, Ilu Yadina Nakusha, we would know for sure that he ate from an inferior field. Right. Mishalim Kusha, we pay the lesser amount. Hashta Yadina, now that we don't know, the suffix, Mishalim Shmeina, he should have to pay the higher amount. Hamotzi Mechaber al Varai. Upon him is the proof. The one who's damaged, upon him is the proof to prove that he damaged the superior land. Ella Amar Rav Achbar Yaakov Haka Mayaskinon. Here, what are we talking about? Top of Mem Tem and Aleph. Kagon Shahaisa Idis de Nizak Kiziburas de Mazik. We're talking about a case where the person who was damaged, he has, let's say, 10 fields. His best field, right, is equal to the worst field, right? Let's Shimon was damaged. Reuven is a damager. Reuven's animal damaged. So Reuven's worst field is equal in value to Shimon's best field. Rabbi Shmuel saw the Nizak Shamina. Rabbi Shmuel says you evaluate it according to the Nizak, right? So therefore, I'm the damager. I only have to give my worst field because that's his best field. His best field, right? So I only have to give my worst field, because it's equal in value to his best field. Rabbi Akiva saw with the mazik shamina. Rabbi Akiva says no, you have to give your best field. Now, obviously, you don't give more than you damage, but you have to give from the superior land equal to the amount that you damage. My time with the Rabbi Shmuel. Whereas, what's machlokas based on? Nemra sada lamata and nemra sada lamal. It says the word sada in the parsha of Mazikin of Nazikin. It says sada twice. Masada Amura Lamala, the Nizak, when it talks about the animal destroying someone else's field, that's talking about the person who was damaged. Afsada Amura Lamata, the other one is talks about when you're talking about how you pay out. The Nizak, you pay out, basically you evaluate the fields of the one who's damaged, like we explained before. Simple explanation of the pasuk. Meita Sadeu Yishalem. The best of his field he should pay. The one who's paying? The damager, so his best field. It makes more sense to pasuk. Rishmael, what's his retort to that? Ahani gzera shava, ahani kra. You need both the gzera shava and the pasuk. Ahani gzera shava the amran, like we said before, right? When the worst is equal to the best, you pay the worst. Ahani kra, but the pasuk makes sense, which seems like the mazik pays his best field. That is a different case. It applies somewhere else. The islay lamazik idis v'ziboris. V'ziboris dide lo shavyak idis denizak. Right? Let's say the Nizak's properly, his best field is not even equal to the worst field of the Mazik. It's less than that. It's not even equal, it's less. In that case, the Mishalim Meita, even that case Rabbi Shmuel would agree, then unfortunately you have to pay back from your best field. The Torah only comes to tell you Nizakin you pay out from your best land. And certainly with hektish. So the Gemara analyzes the statement. What does this mean? Talking about where a shore of Israel, he goes ahead and gores a shore belonging to hektish. Shore the Rabbanan hall, we'll see. Torah says shorei, it has to belong to your friend. If you go and damage a shore of hektish, you're not responsible to pay according to the Rabbanan. So that can't be. When you're talking about a case where a person says, I'm going to donate $100 to the Beit Gabayis based on Mikdash, the Asi gives Bar Shakel Meidis. He doesn't have money to pay, so he pays from real estate. Which real estate does he pay the $100 from? He pays from his best land. So the Gemara challenges, Lo Yehei Balcho. It's not Nezikin over here. This is a debt he owes. I'm going to pay a certain, it's a debt. Balcho of Dino Beinus. The Mishnah said, Balcho collects from Beinus. Maybe Rabbi Akiva argues on our mission and holds that Balchov also you collect from Idis. You can't say a Kalvachomer to Hektish. Right? A Balchov, right? A regular person who is a Balchov, right? If his animal were to damage, then you collect with the Idis. Tomar behektish, you can't hura koch when when it comes to regular people damaging other regular people, right? The Zikin you collect from Idis. Hektish, you don't collect at all by Nezikin. So you can't say a Kavachomer to Hektish. Hektish is less stringent. So the words Olam Denake toward the Dalan toward the Hektish, really like we said before. A shore of Israel was gored the shore of Hektish. Rabbi Akiva Savar La Karoshim Manasya. Akiva holds like the dissenting opinion, the opinion that argues on the Rabbanan. The sign Roshim Manasya Omer, Shor Shal Hektish, Nagach Shor Shal Hedyot Potter. The opposite, he says. If a shor of hektish gores a regular person's shor, hektish is pater. If shal hedyot, a regular person's shor, shanagel shor shal hektish, bein tam ben muar mishal nezek shalim. Another chiddush is that even though it's his first time goring or first 2 times goring, he pays nezek shalim as opposed to a regular shor. If he gores his friend's animal, the first time he only pay chatzi nezek, not nezek shalim. So Rekiva goes like a shemim nasi, and therefore kal v'chomer la hektish. How do you know that Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Shmuel, that's what they're arguing about, right? The question is, whose fields do you value? Do you value the Idis of the Nizak's field, or the Idis of the Mazik's field? Really, everyone agrees like Rabbi Shmuel, so like we said in Rabbi Shmuel, that you evaluate the fields of the Nizak. His best fields. He pays with his best field. Or you pay him for the value of his best field. The Roshim Manasir Rabbanon come over. Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Shmuel arguing is something totally different. We see Rabbi Akiva, he holds like Roshim Manasir, right? And Rabbi Shmuel would, of course, hold like the Rabbanon. Rabbi Akiva started like Roshim Manasir, Rabbi Shmuel started like Rabbanon. So the Gemara is Im Kain my Loba Kosav, and you have to look at the wording when Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Shmuel argue. What does it mean Loba Kosav? He's bringing it from the pasuk Meitav Sadeo Mesav Karmel Yishalim, right? It's not from a pasuk. It's from a different pasuk. Oh, my Kavachomer lahekdesh. What's the Kavachomer to hekdesh? Right? It's actually a leniency by Nezikin, right? Rabbi Shmuel's opinion by Nezikin that you evaluate even an inferior land, as long as it's you pay with the inferior land, your inferior land. If the Mazik's inferior land is equal to the Idis of the Nizak, pay with inferior land. Why Kavachomer lahekdesh? Kavachomer lahekdesh, right? Hekdesh is stringent. Oh, I'm a Rav Ashi. Can't compare the two. I'm a Rav Ashi. Rashi says Tanya. The Hedya, Raisa, which explicitly says Mem Terama Beis, Meitav Sadeo, Meitav Karmel Yishalim, Meitav Sadeo Shal Nizak, Meitav Karmel Shal Nizak, Divir Rabbi Shmuel. They say very clearly. Shmuel says you evaluate by the Nizak. Rakiva Omer, Meitav Sadeo Shal Mazik, Meitav Karmel Shal Mazik. So you see, Rakiva argues on that point. You go whether you evaluate based on the mazik or the nizak. Ravina Amar, Ravina gives a different explanation to our Mishnah. All the Masidis and Rabbi Akiva here. We don't have to say our Mishnah is Rabbi Shmuel because the Mishnah again said Mipnei Tikkun Olam Nizak and Idis. According to Rabbi Akiva, it's Del Raisa. So he said really our Mishnah is only Del Raisa. the Amra Midraisa b'damazik Shaimin. Rabbi Shimon, it follows, Rabbi Kiva follows being Rabbi Shimon. The Darish time of the Kra. Rabbi Shimon's unique opinion throughout Shas, that when the Torah says something, we can try to infer the reason, and based on that inference, we can make different halachas based on that. And he explains why the Torah thought that you have to pay idis. Adam lamani gozo lamani chomes lamachar based in yardlan nichsai v'notan sada no ishali v'som chamash kasam b'torah mesa today or mesa karmel yishalim. The reason that you collect from Nezikin is midoraisa, but there's a reason behind it, because someone is going to steal land, or he's going to extort land. He's going to tell you, I'm going to kill you unless you give me this piece of land, right? Or he forces you to sell it to him. Which has the dinim, gezel, and basically for extortion have the same dinim as Nezikin. They're in the same masechta as Nezikin. So therefore, right, the Torah, in order to protect people from that, why should I go ahead and take this person's field? I'm going to have to come to court. I'm going to take my best field, so I don't want to do that. The Fikach Amro and Nezikin Shaman Hemedis. Dema Amro Balchov Benas. Why? Again, Rabbi Shimon continues to explain our Mishnah according to him. The Doraisa. He sees his friend as a nice field, a nice house. I'll lend him some money. I know there's problems with a gambling problem. He has problem with the stock market. He has problems with the real estate syndicator. He keeps on giving money to the wrong projects, the Ponzi schemes. He says, I'll give him the money. He'll borrow the money. He'll lose the money. And I'll collect his nice house or his nice field. To prevent that, the Balchov, the creditor, can only collect Beinas, can't collect a nice house. If that's true, let's do it all the way. That she collects an inferior land. If you do it all the way down, no one's going to lend money anymore, because if you can only collect from the worst field, you want to get paid back decently. Dear Rabbi Yehuda. Mishnah continues, according to Rabbi Yehuda, Meir Omer Beinas. The mayor says in Beinas, I'm Rabbi Shimon. So Rabbi Shimon jumps in, tells you the reason. Why does Rabbi Yehuda say Ksuva collection Ziboris? Women want to get married more than men, obviously. For men, it's very difficult to be married because they want more women. For a woman, it's okay as long as she finds the right husband. So therefore, they obviously Chazal want her to have a ksuva, so the husband shouldn't go right and divorce her right away. But she'll be happy getting married even if she only collects her ksuva from the inferior land. Davar achar, another reason, Isha yotza l'rtzona v'shelo l'rtzona. Isha ena motzia el l'rtzona. There's another fundamental difference between marriage, that a man could divorce his wife when she wants, or even against her will. But a woman can't force a man to divorce her. A man has to divorce her out of his own volition. So the Gemara asks, "My davar, what does this other thing have to do with anything?" So the Gemara explains, you might say, just like the Rabbanon Masaknik Ksuva, so he shouldn't throw her out of the house. If she forces the divorce, most of the time, I think 80% of the time, women are the one who want the divorce more than the man. She starts the divorce proceedings. So he should be entitled to a ksuva. Tashma isha yosel ertono shel ertono isha enomosi el ertono efshar demashila begita. A man already has an advantage over here. You might think you're sucking a ksuva for a man. No, a man has the advantage already. He can choose not to divorce his wife. He can choose not to give her a get. Unfortunately, this happens a lot, that men withhold a get from their wife. And the women are agunos, they're stuck. So because they have that advantage, they don't need the ksuva. Ksuva is isha b'ziboris. The Mishnah, the ksuva of the woman is collected from Ziboris. Amar Marzusha, Reder of Nachman, Lo Amron Elam Yasmi. A woman who collects her ksuva from Ziboris, that's the only when she collects from the assolement, meaning her husband dies. Right? She collects her ksuva from the inheritors. Aval Mine Dide, if she gets divorced, she collects it from him. The Bainanis. She collects from middle class land, average land. Miyasmi Ma'irya. So the Gemara is Miyasmi, Ma'irya ksuva Isha. If we're talking about collecting from the inheritors, he died. Why only ksuvas isha? I feel kol mili nami. Whether it's a loan, whether it's nezikin, hatan any from nechnesei yisrael element ziboris. The Mishnah continues. The first Mishnah in the parak says that whatever it is, when you collect from Yisomim, you only collect from Ziburis. Elalav Mine, La'olam Elalav Mine. It must be talking about, right, that Mine. Mishnah says collect from Ziboris. Even when he gets divorced, you collect only Ziboris. Not like Marzutra. The Gemara says, Olam Yasme. Really, it's talking about collecting from the Yisomim. What's the chiddush? Ksuvas Isha, it's Tzrichale. The Mishnah has to write Ksuvas Isha. Because a woman, right, when she gets divorced, her marriage ends, she loses grace, right? Essential part of a man wanting to marry a woman is the grace that she has. That's one of the defining characteristics of a woman that makes her attractive to a man. So, because of China, she has better property. You might think that the Rabbanan would make by her that she should be able to get better land. Kamash Bala, no, that she collect from Ziburis. I'm a Rava. Rava tries to bring a proof against Marzutra. Tashma, Rameir Omer, Ksuva Isha beBeinanis. Ksuva of a woman is from Beinanis. He argues in Rabbi Yehuda. Miman, from who? If she's collecting from Yisomim, her husband died. The Mishnah says, according to everybody, that when you collect from Yisomim, the only thing you can collect from is Ziboris. El Lav Mine, Rameir must mean when there's a divorce, and collecting from her. Miklal, the Rabbanan salary, the Rabbanan Rabbi Yehuda holds, Ziboris. Collect Ziboris, not, even though he divorced her, and you're collecting from him, not like Marzosh, you only collect from Ziboris. Mar said, Lo, me ask me. Really, he's collecting from the Yisomim. If you collect from Mine, he was divorced, you collect Beinanis, like Marzutra says. V'shani Ksuvas Isha mishum chayna. Ksuvas Isha is different. Ksuvas Isha is different because of grace. Because of grace, therefore, you might think they should get more. Kamash Malan, you don't get more. Not think she should get Beinanis. Kamash Malan, she gets Ziburis. Amar Abai, Tashma. Abai says, Tashma, Nizakin Shamal Hen Be'idis. Obalcho V'Beinis, Ksuvah B'Ziboris. This is the Mishnah. Miman. Ilema Miyasme. If we're talking this Mishnah, this is the first line in the Mishnah, basically, the second line of the Mishnah. If all these collections are being done from the Yisomim, meaning the person who damaged, or the person who owed money, or the person who owed the Ksuvah died, my year Ksuvas Isha. Why Ksuvas Isha? I feel like Kohani Nami. Why does he have to distinguish different levels? All of them collect from Ziburis. Elalav Minei. What's talk about Minei? And you see what? From Ksuvas Isha, when he divorces, or you only collect, not like Marzuch, you collect from Ziburis. Amar Rav Achar Yaakov. Yaakov says, no. How come I ask? I'm just talking about Kon Shanasa Ariv. Lenitzke Bno, Ulabalcho, Bno, Luksuvas Kalaso. It's talking about the case where a father becomes a co-signer to the debts of his son, either if his son damages, his son's property damages, or his son takes out a loan, he defaults on his loan, or his son marries someone, he's going to pay, he's a co-signer on the ksuva that belongs to his daughter-in-law. It makes sense. Nizakin ubalchov d'mechayim gabu, right? Nizakin ubalchov normally, right, when you're mazik someone, you're alive, or you're balchov, you borrowed money, you're still alive. The mechayim gabo iyunami kimigbi kimechayim megabe. So the father is like the son. So therefore, the father, when he pays out edis for nizikin, and beinanis for halva. Ksuvas isha lachar misa gabya. Ksuvas isha, which in principle is collected, usually marriage ends. Well, I guess not so much anymore nowadays, but a good marriage normally ends in the husband dying, not with a divorce. Ulachar misa miman gabya. After someone died, who are you collecting from, right? If the son dies, who do you collect from? The inheritors. Miyasme. Iyunami ki megabe klachar misa megabe. So the father who becomes the guarantor of his son's ksuva, he also only offers up ziburis, because even though he's technically still alive, right? His son is still alive, and he's still alive. Nonetheless, in this you collect from ziburis. The son, because he's still alive, if he would have the property, you collect from beinanis. But the father is the guarantor, since normally you collect from ziburis, here also the father would pay with ziburis. Whereas if a table the order the ksuva lo mishtapid. we'll see a machlokas about this. The Gemara seems to say that if you're a cosigner of ksuba, you don't have to pay. There's a cosigner by a loan, but cosigner of ksuba is no concept. So this is the kablan. Even if you say that, we're talking about a kablan, which is like a super arev, a super cosigner. Basically, it means that under any cost, I will make sure that if the debtor defaults, I'm setting you up as an agent. The creditor, I'm setting you as an agent to already collect from my property. It's a stronger form of arev. It's machlokas, we'll see tomorrow. A kablan, even though the borrower does not have any nechasim himself, nonetheless he commits to pay. If the borrower, I mean his son over here, has property right now, then he commits. If not, he doesn't commit. The reason he's paying for his son is really his son had property. It's just the wind came and blew it and ruined it. Even though normally a kablan, if the person he's backing up does not have property, he does not fully commit. By his son, he fully commits because he wants to pay off the debts of his son. With that, we'll conclude today's share. Stay tuned for Enoch Ben Sion, where I discuss fundamentally what the machlokas Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Shmuel is. The Damazik Shemina or Dnizak Shemina, and you're going to want to hear this. This is really a big introduction to Seder and Zikin, which is Perek deals with a lot. Enoch Ben Sion coming up next.